Okay.
Welcome. We are here at the Super Mom Summit, and I'm so thrilled that you're here. I'm thrilled that I'm here, and I'm so thrilled that Jennifer Ford Berry is here. She's a dear friend of mine, precious heart. You are going to love this woman. She's amazing. She doesn't just have a heart for moms, but she also has a heart for organization and clarity and all those things that we need so desperately in life. She's our clutter clearing expert. Jennifer, thank you so much for being here at the Super Mom Summit.
Thanks for having me, Hannah. I'm super excited to be here and to talk with all the moms that are listening. So let's do it.
Let's just dive in. That's how we do everything. Jennifer and I do everything by just like diving in head first. So we are going to dive in head first. But Jennifer, first, can you share how you started getting into this whole thing? Like, she's amazing, y'all. When it comes to organization, clutter, I stayed at her house and like, you know how like typically like moms have like, don't go in that room or don't open that closet. Not with Jennifer, like everything is organized. Amazing. She's incredible. So she definitely practices what she preaches. And we're all going to learn from her simple methods on how we can clear out all that chaos, because I don't know if you're like me, but I can't think straight when there's clutter all around me. So she's going to help us get control of that and help us become super moms in our home. So how did you get into all this organization, home clutter stuff?
Well, you know how they always say God has a different plan than you have, right? So totally. I thought I was going to work for corporate America forever. And then when I became a mom, everything kind of started to change because I got laid off from my corporate job in advertising right after I happened to have my first child. So at first I thought, cool, I'll take unemployment and stay home with my baby. And probably about 6 months into it, I realized that I'm not like a full-time stay-at-home mom. That I love creating and I love business and I love marketing, but I didn't want to go back to corporate America because of the hours away from her. So I kind of went on this discovery journey with this little book called Do What You Love and the Money Will Come. And I thought it was the funniest thing because they kept asking me all these questions, and I thought what I love is organizing. And when I really went back down to the beginning, I had loved organizing since I was 5 years old, Hannah. Like literally was the kid that thought cleaning my room was fun.
That is so funny. I am just laughing. Yeah. I could just see you as a 5-year-old, like playing with your friends, playing with all your toys, and like you're there organizing all the baby doll clothes, like all your other diapering.
Yeah, and I would be like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Like, let's just not organize your stuff. Let's organize your whole life. So, so anyways, at first, and this is important, I tried to talk myself out of it because I thought I wouldn't make money doing that. Because this is, 16 years ago when I only knew of a couple main organizers that were well known.
So who are you watching and tuning in?
Peter Walsh was on Oprah at the time.
Yeah.
Do you remember Peter Walsh with the Australian accent?
I sure do.
Yep. And then Julie Morgenstern, I happen to have her book. So but I didn't know, like none of my friends were professional organizers. Nobody like that I knew in my world. So, but I kept with it. And finally I decided that I was going to take this leap and start a business, organizing. And I was just going to start with people I already knew. So I was living in Charlotte. Yeah. And I just, kind of said, hey, can I organize your closet? And so it wasn't anything major. I didn't start a major corporation. I just said to myself, what can I do to start doing something that I'm passionate about every single day? And one thing led to another. And I actually started this little, cheesy email list that was called Free Weekly Organizing Tips. And I'd literally send one tip every week. And what I started to realize is that people just love the simplicity of it. And they were just like, tell me what to do. Yeah. There was nothing complicated.
Interesting, where I just want a little snippet,
Yeah. And so that ended up becoming the foundation for my first book years later. And then when we moved back to New York, because I had to, bring my baby back to New York, I took some time off because people were like, what's a professional organizer? And I ended up doing something in the meantime, and I was writing my book when I had any free 5 minutes I could possibly squeeze in with a baby. So it kind of, once the first book was published, that gave me a platform, and then I really went into organizing full time.
Mm-hmm. Now,
that's the short version.
Tell me about your first book.
So, and this is really important to know for any moms that want to write a book and you've dreamt of writing a book. My first book, and I wish I had it ready to show, I self-published it, and I went to a local printer, and it was like this big, and it had like this clear plastic cover with like cardstock inside and a spiral bound. And I just, it's funny. I mean, but the cool thing about that is that I kept track of every sale that I made. And when I got to maybe like 200 sales, I decided I had like a reason to contact the publisher. And when I did it, I was like, I know this book is going to sell. I know people are going to buy it. I know the target market, and here's the proof. And I think that's what got me published a lot faster.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you have a working model.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, I know that a lot of people reach out to you, Jennifer, because they feel totally swamped in the area of clutter. And here's the deal with a lot of moms is they think, well, I'm just not good at organizing, or I don't have the time to organize, or it's just too much clutter. I don't know where to start. These are things that we tell ourselves to keep us in the bondage of clutter. And I'm just telling you like it is, because we're all super moms here. We can take the tough stuff. But here's the deal. God, we've been learning all about that super abundant power within us to do what maybe in the natural we think is impossible. So if you're looking at the impossibility of organizing your house or all the clutter, I think the real thing is we need to switch some beliefs around and realize that with God's power at work in us, you are a super mom. You can do super abundantly beyond what you think you can do. I think the big problem, and you tell me as a professional organizer, you tell me, is the big problem that we just don't know how to start it, or what?
Okay, so for the thing is that you said you just don't know where to start. And that's what I hear all the time. Moms will tell me, I'm so overwhelmed. And I've actually seen a transition over the past decade and a half of how moms live. And they've even gotten busier since I first started this business. And so things have changed on how I help them. But it makes me so sad, because a lot of moms, they think they're supposed to be good at this. They think it's just supposed to come natural. Sometimes their husbands tell them they should be good at it, and so they feel a little bit like a failure if they're not. And that really breaks my heart. But like you said, Hannah, all you have to do is, ask the Holy Spirit to come in and to give you that supernatural power. And it's so easy. God is just waiting for us to ask him, and he really wants to help us. So I have had so many women that have been in tears when I first arrived, and they're just defeated. And for me, I always tell them it's not about making, I'm not here to make your house Pinterest perfect. I mean, that's the easy part. I want them to realize that every single thing you add into your life is going to take something valuable away. And I call it STEM. So everything you own and everything you bring into your life will take space, time, energy, or money from your life. And as moms, we only have
we got to camp out right there for just a second. That is so powerful. Some moms, I think, I know what you got going on, Mama, and I know sometimes we can zone in and out of things. Get this. Please get this, what Jennifer just said about STEM. Every single thing that comes into your life, that stuff you're bringing home from Target and Walmart and Amazon Prime shows up at your front door. What does it take away from us? Tell us again.
Space, time, energy, and money.
And let me just say what all of us crave the most in life: space, time, energy, and money. Oh my gosh. Truth bomb, like such a truth bomb moment. The things we crave so much are the things we are sacrificing for the stuff that comes in our life. Wow. Okay, we can stop there. Thank you for being with us today.
Now, here's the thing. So why do we keep doing it then? It's because we get a 5-minute high when we're in Target and something new from Joanna Gaines is on the shelf. Like we feel like that's going to make us happy. And it does for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe even a week or a couple months. But I guarantee if you walk around your house right now and look at all those 5-minute highs and you tell me how many things are still making you feel that joy. It's not everything that you gave your stem to. It's very, very few things. So the whole point is that in your home, you want to make sure that you're only keeping things that you love and that you use, so that you're either it has a use or it just brings you joy. And after that, who needs it? So I tell my friends all the time, I'm like, next time you're in Target, you literally say, I have everything I need. I have everything I need. And just keep walking.
I remember one time my daughter and I'm so convicted right now. Like this is like, I am so convicted. My daughter and I were at TJ Maxx and we're like filling up our buggy, like, and she said, Mom, like, I guess this is where you go to get everything you had no idea you needed so desperately.
Yeah.
Like, oh, all right. Put back the little ceramic.
We've all done it.
Plant.
Yep. Yep. I've done it too. And, I have gotten to a point where I realize, like, what am I doing? I'd rather go on a vacation with that money. I'd rather make a memory with my family.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's where, you first got to grab the psychology behind all of this, because otherwise you're not going to have your big why and you're not going to be motivated. Yeah. You're going to still feel overwhelmed. So the big thing is to start there, and then to start in, room by room or small space. I don't care. Most moms don't have 3 hours to organize. They would love to, but they don't have that. You're going to have to do it in 10, 15, 20-minute increments. It's just the way it's going to be. Yeah.
So so here's a mom. She's like me right now. She's totally convicted. She's like, how did I let all this stuff in my life? Mm-hmm. What do we do? Because we need more space. We need time. We need energy. We need money. What do we do now that everywhere we look, it's like clutter that's just taunting us and saying, hey, you a lousy mom. But no, we're not. What do we do about it?
Okay, so number one, there are other people like me that actually love doing this and think it's fun. So if it's not your cup of tea, think in your circle, like maybe you have a best friend or a sister or mom, somebody that would just love to be invited over to help you do this. And if you can't hire a professional organizer, it doesn't mean you can't ask for help. Right. And you have to start small. Like I would literally get my calendar out and get a pad of paper or your phone and make a list of like the top 10 things that are bothering you. I always say start with the areas that are driving you crazy. Like this is a perfect example. If you went and found a cluttered area in your home right now and you stared at it for 5 minutes, just register with yourself how many negative emotions you have, and then tidy it up, clear it up, make it clutter-free, and stare at it again. And already you feel more joy, you feel more energy. I just did a house yesterday and the woman was in tears. She's like, I feel so good. I'm so happy. And it wasn't bringing anything in. It was cleaning up what she had. And, our society is telling us the exact opposite of what I'm saying right now. And that's why we're struggling. So we have to break free from that. And, obviously we could go on and on about, you're not going to find that joy without God. You're not going to find that lasting giddiness and excitedness if you don't have him. Yes. So, get up in the morning, spend time with him, ask him to help you, and then tackle like one area, very small area. Maybe it's like 4 kitchen cupboards, or maybe it's 2, whatever you decided. Yeah. You can't stop until that area is done, because most moms, they need a professional organizer just to keep them on task. Because it's girl, okay, now I have to go in the living room. Oh, look at the kitchen. Oh, now the bathroom's a mess. I mean, they can't just stay focused.
Yes, preach about the squirrels. Like, absolutely. Oh my gosh. But it's true. Just like making sure you break it down into smaller tasks. That's really important, because I don't want, and I know Jennifer does not want you to go look at your garage and say, oh my gosh, this is so cluttered. Or to open up the messiest closet in the house and say, oh my gosh, one thing, one shelf. What if that was it? Or just 10 minutes or one drawer. Like you can totally do this. But I think you really, set a timer. You really hit on something, Jennifer, when you said register your emotions, because we don't even, we get so busy as moms that we don't realize the internal noise, the dialogue that's going on in our head, because we're changing diapers, we're trying to get food on the table, we're trying to get the laundry done, and we don't realize that the whole time there's this weird message going on of like, the beautiful hand, by the way, there's this weird message going on of like, you're a lousy mom because there's laundry all over the place. You're a lousy mom because the desk, you can't even see the surface area. And that's getting into our subconscious. It drags us down. So if we just like kind of like step outside of ourselves for a minute and register, wow, how is this making me feel? It's really dragging me down. It's really irritating me. And like Jennifer said, if you just spend like 10 minutes or do one little area and look at it, just look at it for a minute and say, what has changed in my emotions?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And here's the other really, really important thing to mention is a lot of times I would literally say 9 times out of 10 when we're done with an area and I say to the mom, how do you feel? They never give themselves credit for what they just accomplished. They always look at what isn't done and beat themselves up for that. Like, I love it. It's great. But look at this room. You know, it's already on to what isn't done. And I feel like it would be like going to the gym every day with a trainer and like the trainer never says good job. Like, why would I want to keep going? Yes. So you have to give yourself credit.
Like, yeah, you worked out your arms, but your butt is huge.
Yeah. Like you have cottage cheese on your butt. So
like,
you don't really
in your thighs. Like, I'm sorry. I would fire that trainer so fast, but we're horrible to ourselves. We need to give ourselves credit.
We are.
We
terrible.
Really give ourselves some credit. So if someone were calling you and they're like, all right, I'm so overwhelmed with clutter. I know I can do better than this. What do I do first? You said like someone else may want to help you, or you may need to get a friend on board to help keep you on task, that kind of thing. But then like, sometimes you just like, I know, like sometimes you just look at it, you're like, oh my gosh, I'd rather just shut the door.
Yeah. Like I say, put on the music, put on, you know, like I love energy essential oil or fitness or some sort of oil that's going to fire me up. Like if I'm going to tackle a big project, you know, I will get my mind straight before I do it. And I will try to make it as fun as possible. Sometimes with clients, I even light a candle or just something to get them in the mood, or praise music, whatever. And you need to just say, I'm going to do the best I can with the time I have. And when I'm done, I'm okay. I'm going to be like, good job today. Tomorrow's a new day. But you have to have a plan. I really think before you jump in, you should list those priorities and you should kind of look at your calendar and say, okay, I have a half hour on Monday. I have 2 hours on Saturday. And then you have to say no. When you make this appointment with yourself because you've decided this is a priority, right, and someone says, hey, can you go to lunch with me on Saturday? You know, sorry, I already have an appointment. You don't have to explain why, you know, you just keep that appointment with yourself.
Yeah. We need to talk about that, because there's a problem with, if you want to be a super mom, if you want to tap into God's supernatural power within you, okay, I'm about to preach. Hold on. If you want to tap into God's supernatural power, you cannot operate in a spirit of deception and lies. The enemy is the father of lies. He operates with confusion, deception. And here's why I'm mentioning this whole thing about lying. Is Satan, the devil, he's real. He's the author of lies and confusion. Okay, but our Father God is truth and integrity. Now, when you tell yourself, I'm going to put away that stack of papers tomorrow, I'm going to file it, I'm going to put away that stack of clothes this afternoon, and you don't do it, you are lying. I'm just calling it out. You can get frustrated with me, but we're here to make that supernatural change. Okay. We're all in the same boat. We're all tackling it together, but we're going to do it through God's supernatural power. So when you get that perspective of like, I'm lying, like literally I am lying. And if one of my kids lied at me, if they told a lie, I would punish them. I would come down with a hammer, not a real hammer. Don't. But with ourselves, we're like, oh, it's okay to lie to ourselves. No, it's not. We have to operate with absolute integrity. Otherwise, we're setting the example of deception and lying, and our children see that as well.
Absolutely. And you won't believe yourself the next time you say, tomorrow I'm going to tackle it. Satan's always going to, he's always going to provide a distraction. Every single time a phone's going to ring. You're going to see a pile of laundry that you could do. There's going to be, the dog needs to go out. It's never going to end.
Yeah, it won't. And you've got to keep that promise. But she's right, y'all, because you've got a relationship with yourself, and you have to have that trust relationship with yourself where, if you say something, you follow through. And I really think, Jennifer, that this is just a result of habit. Like if you continually lie to yourself, you'll never trust yourself. But once you break this habit, it's kind of like, I remember when I was like so addicted, like eons ago, to Diet Mountain Dew. Like it took a while for me to like, when I stopped, I was like, I'm not letting that in my body anymore. And you would crave it and you'd want to go back to it. And it was a struggle, but pretty soon it was just natural. So when you're learning how to keep a promise to yourself, at first it's going to feel like that battle is still raging because you're not sure if you can trust yourself yet. But then as you make this a habit, that's just how you are. That's just part of your character is you are trustworthy and you have integrity.
Yeah. Yeah. And you'll start to realize that when you set your mind to it, you can do this, especially if you're asking for that Holy Spirit to come in and help you with it.
Yeah. And sometimes, God really does care about the little things.
Mm-hmm. He does.
He cares about how your spices are organized. He cares about your socks. Like if you're there and you don't know where to start, sometimes it's like, Holy Spirit, you said you would be my counselor, my teacher, my helpmate. Like, what do I do first? He will tell you. He will give you divine wisdom.
Yeah. And since we're gonna say it, keep it real today, and try to get to that supermom level, I want to point out that this is so tied to stewardship. It's like we're wanting more and more. We're wanting God to bless us with this and bless us with that. And I constantly say to people, why should God give you a bigger house if you're not being a good steward with the one you have? Why should he give you, this car when you can't keep the car you have clean? Like, how are you showing God every single day that I am capable of handling more? And you have no right to ask until you are a steward for what you've already been given. Those things are blessings. It's funny because I literally think about it when you're in that mode of complaining about doing laundry. Didn't you pray for those kids that have clothes now? Didn't you pray for that spouse? He gave, he delivered, and now you're complaining. And it's like, I've had people that have prayed and prayed to get out of debt and want to sell their house. They sell it. God provides them with a new house, and then they're complaining about packing and moving. I hate moving. I hate packing. Why'd you pray the prayer then?
That's true. That our daddy God is like, oh, he's probably saying, Jesus, help me. And we're saying, Jesus, help me. It was like, oh, somebody. Like, this kid is so ungrateful. But it's so true. Like, she's so right about stewardship. Jennifer, you brought it home with the whole stewardship, because when we're just constantly, I need more. And that so is wrapped up in that poverty mentality, that lack mentality. I never have enough. We've got to get over that and know that God fulfills all of our needs according to his riches and glory in Christ Jesus. But when he fills our needs, how do we respond? How do we care for it? How do we maintain it? That is stewardship. That is responsibility. And God will not give you more if you can't handle what he's already given you.
Exactly.
I gotta tell you about my 15 passenger van. Y'all, we had this for over 15 years, this car. So our 15 passenger van, and it was hanging on, but it was like junkyard worthy, you know, big old divots down the side, and the handles were missing from the inside. So it was like a trap, like you could get in, but you couldn't get out, you know? But I remember just complaining about my van, and I really wanted a new car. I had my eyes on this new car. And God just really convicted me. He said, when you turn this car, you hear it for another 10 minutes, things rattling around, you know, all over the place. Like, it's like, I'm not going to put this mess into a new car. We're not going to put new wine into this old wineskin. Like, you've got to clean up here right now so I can move you, because he operates by promotion. He doesn't just throw it in your lap. He promotes you to it. So, man, I was meticulous about keeping that 15-year-old 15-passenger van in absolute tip-top shape. Like, I don't care if it didn't have a handle. I shined up the door, you know. I vacuumed it out with all the tears on the seats and everything. Didn't care. And my kids would make fun of me. They're like, Mom, why do you care? This car's so old. I'm like, hey, it's my van. You keep it right. Get the junk out. Sure enough, it wasn't any time at all. God promoted me to my dream car. And then we were able to gift that van to a ministry that needed it for other people to work on. So it's perfect.
Yep. Works every time. I love it.
It really does. So it is. It's tied hand in hand with stewardship.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, what are some ways to because I want moms to leave this session with you with some tools, like immediately, what can they do? So when we leave, you know, we're going to wrap this up soon. And what can they do before they go to bed tonight?
Okay. So the first thing you can do today is sit down and give yourself permission, you know, grab a cup of tea or whatever you want and relax by yourself. Find a space. I don't care if you have to like hide in the laundry room and think to yourself, what do I want my life to look like? What do I want my home to feel like? What do I want my home to represent? Because people just stuff it and they never think about this. And so the first thing I always ask with my clients is, what's your vision for your home, your family, and your life? And then we work toward that. So you're never going to be able to really get super motivated and super committed to this. This is a lifestyle change. This isn't just like a one-time fix.
It's kind of like a lifestyle. It's kind of like changing how you eat, you know?
Healthy lifestyle. It's all the same. So you have to say, you know, and you can ask yourself, what kind of mom do I want to be? You know how many women, Hannah, hire me and they say, nobody ever taught me how to do these things. Wow. And then I have clients that like, they have teenagers that don't know how to do their laundry. And I'm like going, make this kid do their laundry because they're going to have their own house someday and they're not going to have a clue. And we're raising future husbands and wives and employees. So you're not doing them any favor by being the mom's like, I do it all myself. So no more of that. So you make a list, you say, what do I want my home to feel like? What do I want? How do I want to feel in my home? And what do I want to teach, you know, my family? You got to get real serious. And that way you'll say, okay, I want my house to be a representation that we're a really fun, humorous family. Or I want my house to feel peaceful. Or I just want my house to be simple so it's easy to maintain. Whatever your big motivation is, write it down so you can look at it every day. Then grab your calendar, find those pieces of time, those chunks of time that you can actually use to change, you know, to commit to this project, which usually it takes a long time, but you have to be okay with that. It's not going to happen this weekend. It's not going to be done in one weekend. Right. So you just tackle it, you know, maybe you're like, I can't stand my kitchen, so I'm going to pick that apart first. Whatever the case may be, start in the areas that really bother you and just take it one baby step at a time. Like I said, ask for help if you need it. Get those kids and that husband on board. They can help. It doesn't have to all be you. And if it is all you, honestly, especially when it comes to kids, I have to say you have no one to blame but yourself. Yeah. Because they need you more than you need them. So if they don't want to help, I'd be taking that cell phone. I'd be saying, no rides for you. This is how it's going to be. Yeah. And, you know, I feel like a lot of moms are afraid to do that because their kids are so busy now. And they're like, well, they have busy schedules. I don't want to put any more on them.
It's not like they're not going to be
but you're not teaching
busy as adults.
Mm-hmm. Good point. So get all that mapped out, because when you have a plan, you feel like you're in control. And then you just follow through with the plan. And you're going to have days where you're just like, oh, I was so pumped last week. It's kind of like working out. Like, I did really good. Now I'm just tired and I don't feel like doing it. Yeah. That's when you pray. That's when you call your best friend that says, you say, hey, give me a kick in the butt. That's when you reach out to me or Hannah on Facebook or email and say, I need a little pep talk, because you got to keep going until it becomes part of your lifestyle. Yeah. Yeah. Really. And, one of the big things too, I want to say, and we're just getting ready to launch this on my website, is called Local Give, because what I found that a lot of people are really motivated to part with their clutter if they know somebody else could really use it. Like, most people, I have to say, are pretty generous, but they don't know, other than Goodwill or Salvation Army, they're like, I don't know where to give it to. But once we find something in their neighborhood that they can connect to heart, then they're fired up. They'll give whatever they'll just keep giving. So that can be a real big thing. Yeah.
That is so good. Yeah, because I remember like someone told me, look at something, and if you can look at it in your home and say, I would buy that again, awesome. But if you're looking at it, say, if I pass that in the store, would I buy it? If the answer is no, just let it go.
Yeah. And there's a flow. I mean, here's the thing. People don't realize, back to that stem, that, God, you don't want to clog up the flow of things coming and going in your life.
Right.
And there's, just like they say, there's people in your life for reasons and seasons. It's the same thing with items and stuff. So you want to free up some of that space so that there's room for more blessing. So you're doing yourself a really big disservice if you're hanging on really tight to things of the earth, because guess what? And I know people don't like to think about this, but when you think of this, it really makes sense. Like, why am I so worried about this stuff? I came empty-handed. We're all leaving empty-handed. Not anybody on this earth is going to leave with one thing, when they leave. And so what are we like fighting over? What are we cleaning and stressing and rearranging for? Like, just keep it simple. And the more simple it is, the easier it is to maintain. And then you'll have more of that stem that you're looking for.
Oh, so good. So good.
Yeah.
We're all after the stem, right?
More stem.
Love it. We are super moms, and we're going to get that stem. Yes. Jennifer, thank you so much. And so tell us about the bonus that you've included.
So I'm going to send out the printables that are they're like snapshots of a month that says, do this every day.
Oh, so good.
So that you get in the habit. Like, sometimes moms are just sick of planning everything and thinking. So This is like, there's no thinking. Just like, do this today, do this tomorrow, and you can just check it off. And when you're done, there's another one.
When I said, tell us what to do for next step, you basically just put it all in your bonus. So awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Or you can get one of my books, and that's like literally a step-by-step checklist for every single space.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm going to be using that. I am so excited about it. Thank you. Yeah. Now, where can we find out more about you?
So on jenniferfordberry.com, which is just my name. And I want everyone to know that we're just getting ready next week to launch this brand new conference in Charlotte. We're going to start in Charlotte. And it's called Created Order. And it's all about basically choosing your purpose over your possessions. Ooh. And helping you through how to get organized and how to find your purpose, like I did with organizing, and then use it to do something good in the world. So you're constantly learning how to choose purpose over more stuff. It's going to be awesome. So check it out.
Sounds so good. I'm so excited about that. Thank you, Jennifer. I really appreciate you helping us all release our superpower that God has given us and be the super moms that He designed us to be. Thank you so much.
Anything for you, girl.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Love you. Bye-bye.